Hey everybody, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm here today with another project for hip kits. This one is using the June kit, and the challenge for today was to use the Pink Fresh Studio Reverie paper, which you can see I've cut apart here. It's a great cut apart sheet. On one side has this really fun, I don't want to call it navy, but it's like a azure blue. I don't know if that's even the right color. And it has like a kind of a constellation background on the back. And on the other side are all these little journaling cards you can see I've just cropped out and kind of made into piles. So that's kind of the challenge, is to use that paper. So I knew right away I was going to cut it apart for obvious reasons. And then I was sent the color kit too this month, and I thought I'm going to use some of this Vicki Boutin paint just to kind of color up my background a little bit. And so I've used the mint green color, which is actually called Daiquiri Ice. It's a really pretty color. I can see using that one a lot in my near future. And now I'm just kind of playing around with where I want to put all these little cards. So I have a couple not so great selfies here, but they kind of, the color of my shirt goes with the paper. And a lot of the sentiments on this card kind of go along with a page about yourself. So I thought, why not? I'll do that. And so I'm just kind of playing around with where I want to put all the different little pieces and to see which ones I can get in there and how many. And I was actually kind of surprised at how quickly the paint dried, because as you can tell, it didn't really take very long. So I'm just adding some foam behind my pictures so I can kind of pop them up so I can see what it'll look like later. And then I'm really just going to stagger those cards in and amongst each other. No real rhyme or reason, just kind of mixing up the color and the size of the different pockets, or cards I guess you could say, and trying to add in little bits of color for each one of them. So I've got that pretty coral, and there's a pink, a mint green, there's even like a brighter green, as well as a lighter pink and a black and white. So then I'm just going to take my sewing machine, of course, and I'm going to sew through some of those cards just to kind of stick them down really good. Adds a nice little bit of texture and kind of just glues them all back together, right? In this, I'm going to call a haphazard kind of quilted way. There was no measuring involved in this, and that's pretty much how I roll most of the time. I don't really ever measure. Very rarely, unless I really want something completely straight. And I know I've mentioned before that if you make it imperfect, then it looks perfect, because no one will know that you didn't intend for it to be that way. So now I'm just gonna get my photos down and then add some of the fun bits now that I have most of those journaling cards that I want to use onto the page. And so I'm just gonna add my photos, trim off my sewing, and then add a few black droplets, of course. And that kind of brings the contrast up on the page, because everything is pretty, I don't want to say plain, but it's very pastel. So I thought about using these are exclusive stickers for hip kits this month. And I really love the color, and I thought about just putting me on there. So I put that on there for a while, but as you'll see, I take it off later. And then I'm just grabbing all the other goodies from my kits, and I'm trying to decide if I want to use these really cool Amy Tan thickers, but I don't want to have them all one row, so I'm going to cut them apart. And I thought about doing that kind of in the middle of the design there, like do your thing, it says. So I'm kind of like just curving around the letters, but I'm like, no, that does not look right. Something was just off with that. They're a really fun set though, so I'm sure I'll use them on another project. And then I'm using some of these wood buttons. These are also exclusive to hip kits this month. I love these. I could get a pack of those probably in every kit and be pretty happy about them. I love them. And there's tons of Pink Fresh Studio and Vicki Boutin die cuts in the kits. So I'm just kind of trying to decide what ones I want to add in. And the worst part is probably choosing between everything and making a decision, because as you can see, in one die cut pack you get several, especially in this Pink Fresh Studio one, you get tons of little tiny little bits. So it's kind of hard to choose between them. But I decided that I wanted to use these triangle shapes just to kind of go along with the graphicness of the journaling cards that I cut out. So I'm just going to add some of those to my page, and then I'm going to add a few other little die cut shapes here. There's a title here called, I think it says Live in the Moment, and so that will be the title for my page. So I'm just going to kind of layer this underneath my photo and move it down a little bit, and then add these little triangles kind of in and amongst my squares, just to kind of point those edges out a little bit so it's not all so square. Add a little more interest, right? And just trying to decide what else I'm going to use. There's these little tiny bow tie is what I'm going to call them, die cuts. So I decided to use some of those and cut them into triangles, and then use those in like little triangles, obviously. I'm just going to layer a couple of those on there. And I think that's it for the pink brush. That's where I end up with that. And then I start pulling out other goodies. You can see I took off the word me from the exclusive thickers. I kind of wished I would have left something on there because of the yellow. I feel like I need some more yellow on the page, but I didn't. So I'm just going to add some of these die cuts here in and around my photos. And this is one of the die cuts from the Pink Fresh Studio pack, and it actually goes really, it says step by step, I think it says. What does it say? Let me see if I can find my layout here. One step at a time, I think it says. One step at a time. And it kind of just goes really nicely in there with the rest of those from the cut apart sheets. So just kind of fell right into place. And then I had some extra die cuts here just in that little container on my desk, and these are from Just Nick, my cut file store, and I just kind of cut a couple apart, and I'm going to tuck them in behind. That's just to add a little bit of texture and visual interest. And then I start pulling out the stickers. It's almost like there's so many things to choose from in this kit. I don't even know where to go. Like, look at all the stickers. So I'm just trying to decide what to add. Do I need to add? How much more should I add? Should I just stop? And then I realize I'm kind of sticking up everything over top of my paint background, which I didn't really intend to do. You can still see some of it there, but in hindsight, I probably would have left more of it out there. So I decided to rip off some of these like photo tabs from the Bella Boulevard cardstock sheets. So I'm going to stick those above my photos. And what else? Oh, we have some enamel dots. So I'll add a few of those little bits in there, along with more wood buttons. Like I said, these are awesome. I really love them. They're super cool. And then I like the smaller size of the enamel dots. So those, I believe, are from Chanel. So here's how it all kind of looks together. Just really simple, fast page. Actually, pretty much one piece of paper and a sheet of cardstock and a scattering of embellishments. And that's it. Thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a great afternoon. Bye-bye.